Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
Well, Eric in Mesa has called, wants to join the conversation, has a question about fertilizer. Go ahead, Eric.
I actually have two questions, both of them about fertilizing. In October, I planted a whole bunch of yellow bell plants, 5 gallons, and I was wondering, when should I start fertilizing and how often?
Well, you're right at the cusp of one of our favorite fertilizing times, and what we do mostly with yellow bells like that and larger trees and bushes, what we're doing is it's 4 times a year. And basically February 14th, Valentine's Day is the time to put some love into your garden, and that's when you start feeding stuff. You don't really want to do it prior to that because they're still dormant, and most of that nutrient would go into providing nutrients to things that aren't your plant. And it could get a little slimy, a little decayed, so we want to make sure we're doing it now that the new growth is starting to grow. A good balanced fertilizer is ideal. I like to go with organic crumble type that kind of works in over time. And another piece of that puzzle is the next time after this is going to be about Memorial Day. And so we've got a bit of time, and then 4th of July, and then Labor Day. Those are my 4 times typically through the year that we do our main fertilizing for our bushes and trees, mainly our fruit trees. So it's a great time to be doing that. Now is the time to be thinking about fertilizer.
All right, let's go back to Eric in Mesa, who's joined the conversation at 1-888-767-4348. That's 1-888-ROSIE for you. You had 2 questions. We got through the first one in the first segment. Let's see if we can get through the second one.
Okay, so I had heard that schedule before, and it would apply towards citrus, but I had called in once before, and I was told to fertilize them once a month. They're only 2 years old. They were 15-gallon citrus trees. Should I still do it once a month or go back to the Valentine's, Memorial, 4th of July schedule?
So the once a month would be more on the side of doing if you did foliar feeding and you're really trying to increase production and it's in the main growing season. So that's really just through the growing seasons if you're going to do any monthly feeding. And normally that applies to things, again, more in the tropical space than dealing with especially your other bushes and trees. And a lot of times I try to minimize the amount of work that I need to do in the in-between. I mean, once a month is a cycle, but it's more cycle obviously than 4 times a year. And if I can get a good fertilizer or a good bioactive fertilizer that I'm working into my soil, then I only need to do it 4 times a year. And that's sufficient because it's going to be more of a slow release and I'm not having to do it on a regular basis. Now, if I'm doing a liquid type fertilizer, that's one that's going to deplete through the soil system much quicker. And so a monthly application would then be advised.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona home.